Bloodseeker.
I'm all MagMa, baby. Let's go. How do I change my background? How do I change my background to have some lava there? This Bloodseeker does so much. It's so good. It is one of the biggest counters to Slark. You heavily rely on getting in and out of fights. If you're ruptured, you can't do that. And you want to be a very low HP when you're going out of the fight. Well, Thirst, you're always going to have vision, so you can't get the healing through with the Dark Pact. That's the one aspect. Second is Rupture, again, just destroys him. He has to be super mobile, otherwise what does he do? You can just kite him. And also Night Stalker is another person that really, really relies on not getting ruptured. So whoever you use it on, I feel like there might be a little bit more priority on the Slark, but like, man, this is an incredible, incredible Bloodseeker pick.
It is pretty damn good, and I feel like MagMa have been Bloodseekered one too many times that they're finally starting to realize the strength of the hero. It looks like it's going to be played in that position 1 role, unless we're going to see like some dust mid-Mars, which seems kind of unlikely.
Yeah, go one. I put the priority on it this game versus the Slark 100%. I think that's,
yeah, for sure.
Like, we saw what Ulu could do from Master Ares in one of those games. Like, he demolished like 22 kills, minimal amount of deaths. That was when Master Ares, like, that was
one death. Yeah,
like, he absolutely destroyed the team they were versing. And I mean, now the big issue does feel like MagMa kind of lacks some tower sieging capabilities. They get rid of the Lesh, which is another great way to deal with the Slark. Shadow Fiend's gone too, which can kind of provide that. It's a nice pairing with the Io. They could think of like a DP. The only issue with like DP and Dragonite is that they are built to sustain, and Slark kind of likes versing that. So there's a bit of issues in that regard, but I feel like they need some tower push.
Dire team pick.
Just trying to think. They couldn't like Pugna, could they?
That couldn't be too bad. We don't really see the hero a lot at all. Although IG going for the Emo Invoker. Not a lot of stun set up if he goes Exort, but they've got scaling potential here, without a doubt. Can also make plays because you don't have the best supports to do so. So I feel like he has to go Cross Wex. Conker's already banned out, which one is one of the better mid lane matchups versus Invoker.
I know we're in the draft, but I'm already thinking about like how, especially the Night Stalker, like how is Fly going to play around this with the Slark to enable JT to do his job, right? Because JT's job is basically to make Disruptor's life hell, but if he's not on the Bloodseeker with that Crippling Fear, he's going to get ruptured, and he's going to be useless in team fights, and then allow the supports to actually do things. So I feel like you're in this really rough position that as long as Disruptor, Io, and Bloodseeker are literally not clumped in this tiny little ball together, that Night Stalker has to make a choice. And there really is no easy choice, right? Because if you're not on the Disruptor, he's going to Static Storm, or he could even glimpse you. Sure, once BKBs come out, it's less of a factor, so you can just really focus in getting on that Bloodseeker. But if you give him the position 1 farm, then Bloodseeker probably has BKB at that time as well. So he can just pop that, rupture you. I don't want to say the fight's over, but you've got time to reposition yourself so that you can have these amazing teamfight ultis.
I feel like you look to pressure the Night Stalker lane so you don't have to worry about him as much, because I feel like you really want to be rupturing Slark. And then the way to enable that is just to body the Night Stalker in the lane. So maybe, I mean, I don't think you can try lane, because then your Mars is going to get demolished by Slark. If you aggro, then Mars Night Stalker 1v1, he's still going to get farm. So I don't know how they can do that. Maybe they go for like a mobile like Initiator 2, which they probably need, honestly, because it's just the Mars at the moment. They're going to offer a Slaughter. So what's going on here? Is this it is
Mars, yeah.
Okay. So it does give them a hero that can be very tempo controlling. Very reliant on the Blinks though and MagMa. Like both Mars and Slaughter need to have a pretty good timing, but you take a look at the amplification you have coming through. Like Io is going to buff up your cores, the Slardar is going to as well with the corrosive haze. They do have one way to purge it off in the of course the Heavenly Grace from Oli, but that's a really, really strong lane combo, Slardar Io.
It is. I'm just thinking, like, you do need to make the Slark's life kind of difficult, and you definitely didn't want to lane this Mars into the Slark because it just gets absolutely demolished. So at least the Slardar is able to have some kind of turnaround potential. Of course, that Bash of the Deep, very strong super early on, but I think if you're playing this Omni Knight, you need to play it with something like a Slark or a Sven or maybe even a Clinks, right? Just to enable it to survive a little bit more. So I feel like if Omni is going to work, it's going to be a game like this where, I mean, they're not lacking in damage right now on IG's side. They've got plenty. This Invoker is going to provide them a lot. They're lacking a little bit in teamfight control, which means that we might have to see a Quas-Wex Invoker come through, just so we're seeing a few more of those Tornadoes, the Deafening Blast, the Ice Walls coming out, because I feel like Nightstalker on his own going to be able to do enough. You're already going to be buffing up the Slark so that he doesn't have to play quite as defensively. And we've seen what a Keeper of the Light can do as well. The big difference, though, for IG is that with this Coddle, a big reason why we've seen these POS 4 Keepers get so much farm, like literally be overtaking the offlaner and the enemy mid laner in some games, is that you can make a ton of stacks, but they're lacking someone to take these stacks and give away that stacking gold to the Keeper of the Light. So I wonder how that's going to impact things. You know, is it just going to be focusing on stacking the hard camp as opposed to the ancients? Because Invoker, I mean, sure you can meatball, but like I said, I think it's probably going to be a Quas-Wex style, and then Slark, Nightstalker, they don't really do too well at all of taking big stacks.
Oh, how are we feeling about this one? Because this is an important match. This is the lower bracket round one. We saw previously as well. In fact, MagMa, they 2-0'd IG. So they previously in the group stages absolutely demolished them. So this is going to be exciting to watch. In both those matches, it was a very, very similar draw from MagMa. If you remember, it was the Lina, Pango, ET, and Ursa, and then just the other heroes, the last heroes was flexible in both game 1 and game 2. But at least their previous showing, they've looked very good versus IG. So do you feel like they have a draft to take this game here, or do you think IG can kind of crack the trend?
I think they've got a draft to take it. It's going to depend on how the Nightstalker plays. And, you know, I've got faith in JT. He's a very strong player on the off lane.
30 seconds.
But you got to find the right targets to get onto, right? And you've got to take fights that work around when these BKB timings are going to come up. As well, on Magma's side, it's going to depend on some very quick reactions coming out. You know, as soon as you need to be, you know, against a Nightstalker, you're generally always looking at the clock, kind of, just seeing, okay, is it nighttime? Is it safe to make plays? But as soon as you see that Nightstalker portrait come up there on the time, like, Io's going to need to start popping that overcharge, just for that little bit of extra max HP regen. Disruptor might even need to just put down a kinetic field to provide himself with a little bit more safety. Just little things like that, you know, instant reactions coming through to be able to provide a little bit of a safety net for the rest of your team.
Well, to start the game, 2 bounties apiece, but I want to drag your attention down to bot. It looks like at the moment the Bloodseekers cutting the trees. Do you feel like this is just to give them an advantage, or at least a vision on where Karkar is trying to illuminate from out of the fog? I can't think of any other reason.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And so Karkar's like, all right, you got rid of my left trees, I'll go to the right trees. And then you still don't have that sort of vision. He's just going to blast away at these waves as well. Kaz taking the full brunt of that. And yeah, I mean, it's totally fine. They even got the D-ward off in the lane. So, you know, maybe expecting that he might be going for some blasts from the backside. But if he's got trees to play with, I think that's something that people don't do enough. You know, like you can be playing against a Coddle or a Treant or a Hoodwink or something like that. And people, for whatever reason, just leave the trees. And it's like, well, you got a Quelling Blade. It's such a core item these days that just get rid of it. You know, you've got plenty of time before the laning stage starts. And you know, basically every time off cooldown, you should be using it.
Yeah, we really only see like times when you're against a Treant Protector that supports will even pick up the Quelling Blade as well and just come out to the lane instantly with the core and try and get rid of as many trees as possible. But if it's going to give you at least some information on where Karkar's positioning, so you can maybe, you know, dodge one of those mass Illuminate spams, because we've seen in a lot of lanes that the Coddle is such a nuisance, man. Like, this Illuminate damage, you don't expect it, but like, it does so much at the early stage.
The thing to me that's the most annoying about the Coddle is, sure, the Illuminate's a ton of damage, right, as Vi takes another blast, but even if you could finally, like, see the Coddle and you know where he is and you could look to try and deal with him, he's got 330 movement speed, so you can't catch him a lot of the time. I'm assuming this is lag coming through with all the pauses coming out. We can't feel it right now, but, you know, China server's different.
How do we feel about this mid matchup though? Emo, he has gone Coswex, so not the Exort farm intensive kind of late game potential. He's looking to get a lot more active here. Do you feel like the Dust Mars is going to have a relatively decent time versus the ranged Invoker?
I feel like he's going to have a decent time, right? Because even just the early EMP, if he's able to use it right in combination with the Tornado, Mars has a very, very small health pool. And you can see he's just prioritizing going into the phase boots, I believe. No, he's actually got the bottle coming out to him now, but bottle, phase boots, very standard for the mid lane, but I feel like you're going to be running low on mana pretty frequently against Emo. So I think Emo's going to have just a fine time. Of course, there is the right click advantage that he's going to have, but I think that's going to be countered by the fact that, you know, the harass that's coming out from Emo is just going to outweigh that.
And I guess we may as well take a look at the top lane while we have the opportunity right now. Is this, because I was saying in the draft that Slaughter Io, that's a pretty strong laning combo, considering you can just amplify the Slaughter's attack speed, and it's going to make it that much more easier to be able to man fight and get those bash charges. Do you feel like Flyfly is going to have a decent time here in this lane?
I think Flyfly is going to be just fine, just because you've got Ollie paired with you. You know, you can look to dive a little bit more aggressively. You've got that purification, of course, to be able to sustain in these team fights, and then once you build up the Heavenly Grace as well, I think he's going to have just a fine time. You know, the Slaughter was just I don't want to say a last-ditch effort to avoid the Mars laning into the Slight, because that would have been a rough lane. But Slaughter, at least you've got some turnaround potential. I feel like Flyfly is still happy with it overall, though. So, I mean, it's just going to come down to how these team fights are taken, right? Like, I feel like IG have a pretty strong draft. They're lacking a little bit in control, which is why Emo's had to go into this Quaswex build. So that's good. They just need to be able to finally lock people in place. And I mean, the other difficulty is that with Karkar, like I said before, you could stack as much as you want as this keeper, but unless you've got a way to take these ancient stacks and hard camp stacks and funnel some of that stacking gold into him, he's not going to be able to get, you know, the early Aghanim Scepter that we see a lot of the time. So we'll see if they're able to find something out. Just going for the cheeky Null Tallies build super early on. Why not? Buffs up the damage so much on a keeper.
Yeah, that's something we've seen teams pair up pretty consistently with the Keeper of the Light. It's always making sure you have this, you know, ancient clearing farm intensive position one that can really utilize the amount of stacks that Coddle can provide. You know, we've seen teams like Vici really thrive off that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's how it almost has to be played. Liking this from Dust as well. Just putting the 1 point into the Bulwark. Looking to harass up Emo as much as possible. He's still got the one bottle sip available to him, and Emo, of course, I mean, Invoker, he's not a bottle carrier, so just the Null Talismans for his laning stage at the moment. He'll at least get that water in on the bot side.
Top lane, got a little bit of a skirmish going on. Nothing too crazy, but you're seeing either teams trying to flex their muscle pretty early. And Flyfly, seeing if he can battle up against a Slaughter, and then you got both support to kind of enable your sustain. At the moment, Flyfly are really winning the battle, starting to get some essence charges. I'm surprised they're going at the moment on MagMa before level 3 on TZY. This is a huge power spike. It looks like they don't even need it though. Flyfly just to pounce to safety. Maybe they can put their attention to Ollie now. The resources, still relatively solid for IG. I mean, Ollie's got 3 tangos and 2 mangoes, and then Fly has just got the tango available at the moment. So yeah, still a decent amount to play with.
I think it's fine, a bit ballsy to go back in to try and re-engage in that team fight when he had 3 Bash of the Deep stacks on him already. They're just going to continue trying to harass out here. Like,
this
Ollie,
is...
he's seriously weakened, right, by his low mana pool super early on. I think more importantly than the tangos, he's running a little low on the mangoes. So having to risk the turnaround, and yeah, you can just see there, Fly having to use his pounce to get the hell out.
Yeah, this is the big power spike, and the second one in the lane comes at level 5 as well, and then after that is the 6 for TZY. But you see how aggressive you can play. They need to get in front of him here. It's still on cooldown for Fly, so it's not even going to matter. Diving very deep. Not going to compromise the position, though, with any potential support rotations. I see that, man. Fly. Oh, he's playing with fire right now.
And you just see the difference, right? If that was a Mars, no chance that they have the kill threat to be able to turn around on in there. So overall, I mean, I know it's only 4 minutes in, but have a look at the net worth graph. Every single lane going well for MagMa right now.
And this is also like, with all the top lane aggression they're getting, it's going to enable your Bloodseeker in this bottom lane. He's continuing to have a very solid start, top of the last hits, and he's only got 2 points in thirst at the moment. He might keep it. JT, they don't get the blood right connection, but still, I mean, look at Bai. He's able to man fight at the moment, considering how low the Night Stalker is. So the thirst stacking up just a little bit. Luckily enough, if the Slark was very weak, then maybe the Bloodseeker could have continued the action.
I want to get your opinion as well, as another double blast, of course, hits onto them. It's so much damage, man. Like 325 damage. Level 3, huge AoE, able to clear creep waves.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Yep.
How do you feel like that loss in the group stage did affect IG at all? Do you think they're spooked? This is an elimination game. This is a lower bracket, and MagMa 2-0'd them in pretty
they're trying to get first blood at the moment on Kaz, and JT will pick it up. And there should be a rebuttal though from Bai. Even top lane, Fly is going to fall as well. So we got 2 kills picked up early from MagMa. It does cost them first blood, but they're probably happy with the trade there, considering without what else they were able to get on the map. And well, to answer your question, I'm intrigued. I feel like maybe that was just an off day for IG. Honestly, like, they didn't look very good through the groups at all. They just snuck in at 6th place. So they were 2-4, and one of their losses, like we were saying, was versus the MagMa. But I think that was MagMa on a really good day. That was both the games where we saw TZY absolutely pop off on the Pango. And if you remember as well, Mian was playing the Lina in both those occasions. Maybe one of them, the game one, he looked really solid. So I think just MagMa had a draft that felt like it suited them incredibly well, and IG weren't able to kind of deal with that. They probably had plenty of time to look over that. You got to keep in mind as well, I mean, let's be real, like the caliber IG are compared to MagMa, this is, again, it's like an official scrim for IG. They're just prepping themselves, getting ready for TI, seeing what works. So we'll see how they're able to adapt in that regard. As Ollie, is he okay? I mean, he's so beefy right now with Heavenly Grace on him. Still got a decent amount of duration with it left over. An early rotation for the Mars, not going to net them a kill, which it does mean now Bloodseeker's alone down bot, so he's forced to use his own Rupture.
Yeah, especially at nighttime against this Night Stalker lane, you do need to be a little bit afraid of leaving Bloodseeker down here on his own. He's going to be able to dodge out the Illuminate, and well, I really like the fact that he's gone these infused raindrops. Of course, it means that the trades they're making an attempt here on to buy.
Mass TPs. JT with...
just run away though.
Yeah. He's like kind of half sticking around. He's like, maybe we can jump Kaz. His Invoker going to come down. He won't be able to connect fast enough until this Dark Ascension is expired. He's still thinking about swinging on over though. JT's got a lot of information, and MagMa, are they aware of his position right now? They aren't able to scout him out. And they do have Emo nearby. Unfortunately, Dark Ascension's over, but let's see how they can find the kill. It's not going to be easy, especially with Mian to give that extra steroid of health over to the Bloodseeker. And there we go, not enough to claim the kill, and a great rotation. Latches the spear back towards the tree line. Emo's going to attempt a ghost walk into a disengage, but they have a perfectly placed sentry to minimize that escape route from Emo, as he's going to end up falling.
Good glimpse as well, being able to bring him back. Even without the sentry, they would have, of course, had the Bloodseeker for the Thirst Vision once he dropped all that low. So even though Ollie made the rotation down with the Purification, it was enough to make sure that you got the kill. And again, MagMa just, you know, they're rolling along. Let's see if they're able to convert it into some dominance, because I feel like the 10 to 15 minute mark is where you're going to hit a lot of these nice early timings that they've been looking to build into TZY. He's already got the power treads, a good amount of farm, picking up the gloves of haste, just looking to be a bit of that brawler in the laning stage.
Good lane. Another rupture out onto JT, but he's able to get himself back far enough to stop the aggression. I say that though, he actually didn't go to the tower, so the Bloodseeker charging forward. Luckily enough, the rupture's expired, but still the Bloodseeker has plenty of movement speed to chase him down. He doesn't give a damn about none of these tier 2 towers to protect him, and now he's got an angle to find a TP out, helping the IO as well. Unfortunately for Mian, does not have a TP. Maybe the courier.
Yes, value.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Ollie's. I mean, it's going to take Ollie a very long time to get this kill. Is it
I wonder
actually?
if he's even going to bother. You don't want to feed it to the Slark. You know, you don't want to give that permanent agi stack.
Did you just
Does he
deny
have a courier
yourself?
coming out to him?
It's dead. It's dead for a minute 10. What does he actually do here?
Yeah, just deny yourself, I'd say. I'll just walk
Wait,
on
this
out.
dude's
Why
actually
not?
got some big cojones. He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk past the outpost. Doesn't matter. No one's here. I might even connect with my Slaughter, maybe to get a kill on the Slark. Oh, they're going to see
He's going
him.
to walk under the vision now. They're going to be like, God damn it, how is this little cube still alive?
Oh, I feel like for IG though, they were probably hoping the first 5 minutes of nighttime would have gone a lot better than what it did, considering you have a Coswex Invoker looking to pair up aggressively and make these rotations, and the fact that they didn't get any kills out of it with the Night Stalker is, you know, something that they were probably hoping would be a little bit different.
I feel like even just like they went on to buy, right? They went quite heavily on killing buy. Top side, TZY is kind of getting gone on, but he could just run away.
Pretty survivable as well with Mian. Extra reinforcements coming through from either team. And now with Radiant, I mean, they're just going to stick around. They've got a catapult, they'll heal up TZY, and they've just got to get out of dodge from IG. You saw Emo TP out, and Flyfly is just going to have to walk to the jungle, so there should be a free tower. Bai's going to be careful down bot though. You recognize that no one's going to defend top, so they're probably the only movement IG really have is to trade bottom or try and just, you know, farm up the jungle and not get a worthwhile trade out of it.
So the lanes aren't going well, but for IG fans and for support fans, look at that warding. Look at that warding just on the IG side.
Oh, right, yeah.
IG's just complete coverage over the mid area of the map. You have no way of engaging onto the enemy side without someone knowing. Of course, with the relocate you can, but hasn't been picked up yet by Mian. But it just gives them complete and utter vision advantage when compared with MagMa. It's not doing them a lot of good, it has to be said right now,
like,
but
I don't know. Do you like these ward placements? Because I feel like you wanted a little bit more aggressive wards for the, again, like the first nighttime to get those kills. Maybe if they had one deep in the jungle or was able to see the rotations from the supports, because they seem very defensive, like they're set up for just trying to free farm for the first, 12, 15 minutes or so. And I was taking a look at, Invoker's itemization if Emo was going Midas, and maybe that was why with how they've set up the line, but he is not going Midas.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was saying, like, even a disruptor kill would be fine, right? Because you need to get some sort of use out of this. Speaking of the Invoker, he's getting gone on a little bit here. Good tornado, but he's just going to get static stormed inside the arena. That's a dead Emo.
A little bit too late with the rotations there, and first use of Kaz's static storm as well. Arena, I believe, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
second use of the arena. They attempted it on the top side. It was like the one not ideal rotation that MagMa have had, where they weren't able to even kill the Omni Knight with the first one. But I think it's still fine.
bottom lane, JT. Rupture out plus the relocate. He's at least got Oli nearby, and look how far he can make it away with just the sustain. Maybe they'll chase down Oli, but even then, that's a pretty difficult kill, so a lot of time wasted. And now JT, he wants some revenge. It's like, you getting aggressive on me? I'll put it back in your face. And even top lane as well, Mian is looking to be in trouble, though. Tether away to safety, doesn't have a TP. Fly unable to cut him off, though, so all these rotations and gank attempts on these lanes are not going well, really, for either team.
I think that was fine by MagMa, though, right? Like, you burn the relocate, sure, but that was the Dark Ascension popped. Now you know that you've got a good 2.5 minutes where you can get very aggressive. Mars, he's still 600 gold or so from picking up his Blink Dagger, but I don't think he needs to farm it. You know, you've got this stack here, you've got the Haste Rune as well. I feel like you want to be making plays as quickly as possible to take advantage of this.
Where's Fly? What's he going up? Alright, he's got Echo Saber queued. He's still... I mean, what do you know, Danog? Cuddle is higher net worth than their position 2 and their position 1. Just classic Cuddle stuff.
And it is good that he's going into the Ags. You know, I see a lot of keepers go like, oh, I've got all this farm. Let's build an Aeon disc. And it's like, well, no, that might protect you, but you're still a support at the end of the day. You know, your job, even though you can farm amazingly well and you've got great kill potential and harass, is to secure the game for your cause, because you're never going to close the game out with an Aeon disc.
Bai's in trouble. He's running to 5 dire heroes. They're actually looking to defend the tower. The +2 coming from the relocate. The rest of the team's also swinging on over through the jungle. They are smoked up, so not going to see them underneath the observer that IG currently have set up. They're targeting through the slider, but once again, TZY, they've lost the IO, but he can instantly TP back in. Another really messy fight. No one's died just yet. Finally, it looks like Oli with a sacrificial lamb, as all the rest of the IG cores will make it away.
The fact that all the cores make it away, good sign for them. You know, only a minute away from the nighttime again. Dark Ascension's now available. That skirmishing got you a little bit closer to picking up that Echo Saber on Fly, which is when they're really going to look to try and get aggressive. I think he's nearly got the Oblivion Staff himself. Kaz might be in a little bit of trouble here, but the Tether keeps him fighting fit. I wonder, can they make a play? Oh, there we go. There's the Dark Ascension being popped. It's a defensive one again, though. Doesn't have the Blink Dagger, though. That's the downside here for TZY, so he's not going to be able to make that chase. By the time it expires, though, it will be that nighttime, but I think they're just waiting for the Night Stalker to be grounded, because, of course, we've seen so many times you don't want to be able to spear someone that can just pop an ultimate and get straight out of a kill attempt.
Getting done, but Kaz not going to catch out the Sluk. So it feels like Radiant, though, they've got some big timings on these BKBs. That's going to be when they feel they're probably most powerful, honestly, in this game. So tabs are going to be on the Bloodseeker, BKB, and Dust. I mean, he's already got his Blink, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking to go BKB next item. For the Slider, he's still wanting his way to get into the middle of the fight here, so at least it's going to take him a while. But they're looking to smoke up. JT leading the charge. They've still got pretty good wards in the vicinity, more down to the southern side of the outpost, so they won't be successful with this initial maneuver. Maybe on the secondary route. I don't think they just saw Mars with that ward placement, so another movement that's not paying off here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like MagMa are in a pretty good position to be able to counter it, though, right? Like, Mars has still the double damage, still got the Blink Dagger, and relocate available on the IO, of course, with the mechanism. Able to turn around anything right now, and, you know, I feel like you need that Dark Ascension just for the extra 50 damage that you're going to be able to do to rip apart the supports. Might have to catch out Kaz here on the back line.
Karko as well, just dropping the arena. What a tornado. Disrupts the combo from MagMa. Now Dust is completely out of mana. Mian coming to safety. This Io once again giving them the sustain, so they'll turn to kill off JT. Now with the Corrosive Haze, they can target down the Slark next. A great use of the Static Storm. There's no escape potential from Fly now. Oli's next on the agenda as well. Emo, maybe he's got another round of the abilities. We'll push back the Bloodseeker. Mian he's already used the defensive capabilities, but Bai just gets back to safety fast enough. Now Emo's the target. They'll bring him down with the blink in forward. 3 from IG, maybe making it a 4th as well. He'll try and use the Pog Pole. I don't know if it's enough. The Glimpse drag back to his demise as Oli will be the 4th down and MagMa lose no one.
Man, just sidestepping on the backlights there was Bai. They committed so heavily again onto the Bloodseeker. Finally, they were able to get a kill previously, so you had those Spirit Vessel charges available, but it just, again, doesn't result in much of anything. IO able to come through. The amount of heal that you're able to pump in through that is still overwhelming enough at this early stages of the game that you're not going to care too much about that Spirit Vessel charge.
So we're seeing some real big issues right now on how they can kill the IO. And what are some potential avenues for IG as this game goes on? Are you going to be relying on the Night Stalker blink just to completely aim him and just take him out of the fight? Is it Emo's job? Like, whose role is it to get rid of this IO?
I feel like you kind of need to say to Night Stalker, look bro, sorry, it's your job just to soak up this rupture. You know, I know you mentioned before that you felt like it was Fly that needs to be the one it's getting used on in team fights, but you gotta kind of force MagMa's hand in my eyes and put the Night Stalker on the front lines, have him pop the BKB, have with the Heavenly Grace, the Echo Saber, basically someone that's unavoidable. All of the extra damage that he's going to be able to pump out onto the backlines that you need to lock him in place.
Top lane, Fly. Ooh, Rupture's out. TP's coming through. I believe his teleport just came back off cooldown for Fly, so there was no opportunity for a TP out before the rest of TZY and Mian could get nearby, so that is another huge pick-off for them.
Middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, you just need to enable Fly to fight, basically, right? Because with this Bloodseeker, if he ruptures you, you just can't. You know, you saw it was only a gank attempt there, sure. Well, not even an attempt, they succeeded, but if a Night Stalker is able to force that out, you're still a position 3, right? You might be a damn strong one. You don't have reload as well.
Dust. No Spirit Vessel charges. Dust just turns. He doesn't care about the initiation. Guess what? Eat the 2 ultimates. You're gonna end up falling. The reveal of the Ignis, maybe that disrupts the jump on JT, but with no damage, Dust can still jump in forward, and my god, all of MagMa shot up just in case a further team fight breaks out.
Look at it go.
TZY?
TZY is hungry.
They know how strong they are right now. IG really behind in the items. They get the vision, glimpse back once again, ruptures out. Now Fly, he can just hope to stand his ground. Omni will give him some extra protection. Rupture's not going to last too long because of the status resistance, but Fly now. Can he win the man fight? MagMa need to continue to kite the stuns, lacking from IG. It's really showing at the moment. A beautiful timing of the Dark Pack. Fly still fighting shape, but TZY jump in again, man. What a use of the Dark Pack from Fly. Kaka continuously refreshing the Dark Pack to enable him to keep his life. Now MagMa looking for a rally back around the river. IG have to be so cautious if they reinitiate this fight. They're a bit split at the moment. They'll see the Bloodseeker, they'll see the Disruptor as well, but again, man, how do you start these fights? So difficult now for IG. And TZY is actually going to go in. IG, it's daytime. I don't know if you want to fight right now. The ultimates are coming back up pretty shortly from Radiant as well, JT. Dark Ascension pop. Mian's going to attempt to relocate out to safety. He's not fast enough as they'll finally bring down the starter. They can target Mian next, but a great use of the kinetic field around the choke point enables Mian to get the tether away. And JT?
Gonna dive a little bit here. Forcing the rupture out. He won't be in any danger of dying, and at least they can take the tower. Never mind.
He gets the rupture
glimpse.
damage from the glimpse. Oh, man. Just too eager. Kaka just, obliterated the ball. Again, who expects this Illuminate to do so much damage? But, well, poor old Io.
I hate Coral so much. It's just so obnoxious what you're able to do with a hero that, again, he's top of the net worth on his team. Like, position 4. Should not be possible. Hasn't even had any ancient stacks, support gold coming through. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about this hero, man?
Like we haven't really spoken.
Soloing Roche? Oh no.
Are they? They've got level 12 now, so 2 points Corrosive Haze should be plenty for them to take this. Karka's nearby.
Position. They don't have Dark Ascension though, and it is still daytime for a long time, so I don't feel like they can even contest this.
Dust is very low as well.
Yeah,
they're gonna see the blood right,
Roshan has
but yeah,
fallen to
they
the
feel like they
Wraith.
can't take the engagement, and Karka's gotta be quick on his toes right now. Ooh, Dust already used the blink. Okay, I mean, BKBs are coming up really shortly. In fact, you know, Bai's already got his. Mars just completed his own BKB, and they gave the Aegis to the Slaughter, so they really want him to be the aggressor right now in these fights.
Yeah, I feel like Mian wants to be tethered up to it as much as possible, right? The overcharge providing the 110 attack speed bonus, just the amount of attack speed that Slardar has right now, of course, with the Acro Saber getting those double hits off, he's got the power treads, he's got the casual gloves of haste. It's a crazy amount of lockdown that I don't think anyone on IG are going to be able to deal with, even with a Heavenly Grace onto someone.
Feels like IG for them. I mean, we just saw the Invoker. He's got Midas completed on Emo, so looking for this potential to scale a lot better into the late game. I just think IG have to dodge as much as possible. You know, I don't know how you can take these fights pre-BKB, especially for JT, especially for Fly. So the issue is that MagMa, they've got very strong pick-off potential here, so it's not going to be easy for them to dodge these heroes.
This is true. I feel like the next time you take a fight, like you've just
tower
disassembled
is
your
under
Echo Saber
attack.
on JT so that he has a BKB for these fights. So he needs to get in onto Kaz immediately and try and take him down. With, of course, the help from the Invoker. You've only got the 1 point in the, the 1 charge in the Spirit Vessel, so I feel like Disruptor or someone easy needs to be the target that you're using it on, so you can get those 2 charges
top
refreshed
tower
again.
is under
You can
attack.
start to pull the fight a little bit more in your favor. Hell, even the killing the IO might not be the ideal scenario, right? Because if you use everything on him and he's under the cover of a crippling fear, then he might be able to just buy back, relocate in, and then you've still got an IO to deal with for, 12 seconds. They'll catch the Disruptor.
There was the smoke to look to fight with the BKBs that was just completed. Fly and JT, like you brought up before. I am really intrigued to see how Karka is going to be using the Will-O-Wisp in these team fights. I think it's so important that, maybe he could just drop it down on the Rupture target to give them a little bit more difficulty on collapsing and bring that hero down, or maybe the Arena or the Static Storm so they can't, fully utilize that AoE control. So if Karka uses it as more of a counter initiation tool, it could kind of waste the first initial ultimates of MagMa, and maybe that gives time then for IG to rally, reset, and kind of reevaluate how they take a team fight.
Maybe, but then again, you have to consider, think about all the attack speed that Slardar has. You've got the IO paired together. You've got the Bloodseeker as well with the Blood Rage for more attack speed, and they've all got BKBs. So, well, I think actually one of them was really close to picking it up. Slardar still about 900 gold away, but still, it's like you could just immediately turn on it, deal with it, and then you don't care. You're gonna deal with it in about a second and a half, probably.
I guess then maybe IG, once the BKBs get a little bit lower, they'd probably be happier if it's MagMa that are just wasting a BKB to kill that off, because Dire are going to have a lot of control through, the constant, the blinding light from Karka. Just that mischance is so strong versus a Bloodseeker and Slaughter, or Invoker's got a crap load of control as well. But, we're going to see Fly smoke up once again. It just might be the support on Mian. See if he can get the tether away, though. Anyone nearby? Looks like he won't be able to do so successfully, and that's a big pick-off. They might be able to swing this into more. Oh, they even... Okay, just a blind Ignis, hoping someone was up there.
He doesn't have the buyback, though.
MagMa
have a lot of turnaround potential. Ooh,
trying to use their high ground ward. They've just caught out Oli at the moment. A very preemptive use of the Guardian Angel. Rupture's out. They're going to try and prioritize JT at the moment with this ultimate for the Bloodseeker, but a lot of BKBs are being committed. 2 simultaneous fights breaking out at the moment. Slardar looking to jump the heroes in the river. He won't get the extra damage follow-up, so now they're going to turn to deal with the Bloodseeker. Fly still no help as well. Emo getting control to the
in
back, so we
trouble.
can't help Slark here with Fly falling. Do you have enough damage in the tank now just solely on Emo? The Illuminate, definitely enough from Kaka, so it looks like it's going to be a 2 for 2. They're still hunting though from JT. He's got a BKB left in the arsenal. They've got a very solid high ground ward as well.
I mean, you'd have to say that fight probably turned out even, maybe a little bit more in IG's favor, considering Kaka was able to get the it wasn't even a kill streak, right? But 500 gold from killing Dust. But that came off the back of like 2 kind of poor initiations coming through from MagMa, right? Like they could have potentially saved Mian. They didn't choose to. They wanted to stay underneath the cover of smoke, but the arena, the initial spear not hitting onto the right target, and then even TZY going in onto the back lines. He missed his blink crush, so I feel like things could have gone a lot better for
JT.
MagMa than what they did.
His TP's on cooldown. Uh-oh. See if he's going to be safe up on the high ground. Is giving Dire enough time to come over to protect JT. Now he's going to finally TP out. Is there a way to cancel this Dust? And this is
Getting
also...
there in time. But like even when those BKBs start to get popped, right? You've got the Desolator nearly picked up by Mars, so they're still going to be able to deal a fair chunk of damage through these BKBs. And again, all the attack speed, it just pairs together quite nicely. I always love to see when a draft comes together and, you know, your itemization, your hero picks, it makes sense. You know, you want to make sure that you're having these heroes that can just not care, basically. Like that you don't care what the enemy itemizes into. Yeah, smoke on smoke.
JT,
got the arena available. That
DD, that's a big one to pick up. TZY gonna jump on 5. What an arena, man. Dust finds 3, but they're only able to get the connection on 1 from the Static Storm, but that's the important target in the Omni Knight. They can turn towards the backline as well as TZY will rip apart the Night Stalker. Another Slark is disconnected from an escape route. The spear connection on point as once again MagMa find another big team fight success.
What is it about this MagMa lineup against IG? You know, they just seem to make it work again and again, and they're on the front foot being able to try and take this one. They were able to clean up the Disruptor, but again, it's just not enough when you've got all of this team fight control, which is the one area, again, that I felt that IG were kind of heavily lacking. You know, if you're underneath that crippling fear, if you're getting the Static Storm onto you, you're not able to drop the Ignis, and suddenly all of your teamfight effectiveness gone. Did they even have to pop BKB on everyone there? They did, I think. So at least that's a little something going in IG's favor, but I don't think you want to have to give up 3 heroes for that kind of cost.
And it's still like, I don't know how I favor IG late game, honestly, because I feel like Bloodseeker, just, again, I'm a huge fan of this hero versus Slark. It's one of the biggest counter matchups, and you're really banking off Emo's Invoker, which he's done it previously. Like, this man is an crazy Invoker player, but he doesn't have the net worth to back it at the moment. He's top of the team. He's even with his counterpart positioned to on Mars, but you don't want that considering he built the Midas. So I really don't know how this game's going to fare late game. Anything can happen with like a Night Stalker vision advantage and a late game Invoker as well, but I feel like it's going to take them still another 15 minutes where they're maybe comfortable. Okay, well that's a great start. BKB's pop from Dust, trying to man-5 Fly. Couple ultimates once again wasted. They'll deal with the Will-O-Wisp. No way to cancel the JT. Oh, DZY had the bash queued up. The drag back on the Omni Knight as well. They definitely have a way to cancel if he's got all these 3 bash charges ready and waiting.
Very nicely done. And again, daytime, that they look to make that attempt immediately as soon as it turned into daytime. So MagMa, they're just playing smart Dota. And again, decent tower taking potential as soon as you've got this Desolator up online.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Just look to rotate towards the top side. They want to take control over the jungle.
Oh, TZY! He canceled the TP. Doesn't even need the help of the relocate. This man, what a last pick slaughter. He is going mental.
It feels like every single time that MagMa have been able to pull out like an against the odds win, it's been on the back of TZY.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is quite the player for MagMa. Again, throughout the TI qualifiers, it was dust for them. He was having outstanding games, and he still is as well on the Mars, 3-1 and 13. But you know, the Bloodseeker 2, 8-0 and 7. It just feels like everyone is doing the individual things, and you even have Kaz with the Disruptor, who has the Aghanim's Shard now. What another incredible way to be able to buff up your teammates.
Buff up your teammates. I mean, you talk about attack speed, just provides you even more plus 75 attack speed to whoever uses it on. And he's got like 2 amazing targets for it, both the Bloodseeker and the Slaughter. Dust isn't too shabby himself either, right? Like, he's going to be on the front lines, he's going to be dealing damage, but I feel like it has to be given over to Slaughter.
I mean, Slark is just finding 0 item progression. It's felt like he's had this BKB for quite a long stage this game, and there you go, Slaughter. Aghanim Shard picked up. Bai's gonna have the Aegis advantage now, and this... really, the net worth lead it's been steady, and then the past couple minutes or so, it's finally started to skyrocket in MagMa's favor, and it feels like it's even going to grow to a further extent now because of the Aegis enabling them to take probably the outer towers.
Yeah, take the outer towers. They've got control over the outpost. It's just one of those things, right? As soon as you take a tier 2 tower, suddenly, especially if you're on the Radiant side, suddenly Roshan becomes much more of a task that you're capable of achieving. And again, the itemization really good. I'm hearing a relocate coming through. They're not even going to need it to deal with Karka. He has dropped down, so he's not number 1 on the Dire network anymore. He's surrendered that position to the Evoker with the Midas, but still, it's a lot to deal with. They're trying to maybe catch out Bai on the bot side here. He's still got that Aegis and BKB though, so I feel like Emo, he's gonna have to make a decision. Like, do you sit down here and just wait around for 50 seconds? Or they can't go for a kill. Yeah, he's just TPing out.
Ooh, alright. So I wasn't gonna bring it up just yet because I was gonna wait till 3rd Roche, because that's when I thought Bloodseeker was probably gonna get the Aghanims and he wasn't gonna buy it, but in fact he's just buying it. I mean, it's just
that was the point that I was going for. Yeah, like, what can you do against it? You know,
hold that thought. Wait, they're TPing on the backline here. Dust just claims off volley. I thought they were going to have the Slark as well. The Bloodseeker adds like so much value this game.
Yeah. He just continues slowly pushing forward. JT doing his best to try and shove the wave out, delay things a little bit. Even Karka is going to be able to drop down that Illuminate. He's got the Spirit Form, so he's going to be able to do it from the safety of the trees and potentially get out in time, but it feels like they're delaying for a timing that's just not going to come. You know, they've got a BKB now on the Slark. They've finished up the Echo Saber and the Shadow Blade. So, again, it feels like the player's trying to go in onto the backlines, most notably Kaz, but they know that Flyfly's walking around. He knows it as well, with that Shadow Dance regen buff getting removed onto him. And he's not carrying a Dust either, right? So if he just goes solo onto Kaz, he can just Glimmercake, and he's totally fine.
Again, I feel like this is just, you have to delay the game for IG. They have relatively decent ways to shove out the side lanes. The only issue is that MagMa also have pretty good ways to find the catch. So it's not going to be easy for them at all. Maybe a high ground defense where they can get, you know, a formation set up and somehow catch MagMa off guard. But it's a really difficult task as Flyfly. Well, they got the connection. Dark Pack gives him that instant protection. Even Karka coming to safety just in case there's any extra fault. Man, Flyfly's playing really aggressive right now. They don't want to give any more real estate over to MagMa. Bai's going to use the first Rupture Charge on... Oh! Bye-bye, Omni Knight. Just brought down with one shield crash. He's going to buy back. See how much impact he's going to have in the second fight here. But still... it doesn't look like IG are able to take it. I mean, they push back JT. There's the rupture damage to bring him down. Now Flyfly, he's disconnected from the team. He's trying to do it all by himself, but he has to pop the Shadow Dance early. Flyfly's in trouble. They need help. He needs it now. Can he get to safety? They can chase through the tree line and get the last hit bash. They'll kill off Ollie as well. They'll claim game 1.
Man, Ollie just got one hit from 100 to 0 by a God's Rebuke that did 1550 damage. Just enough to be able to take him out. They even, like, Nightstalker finally was able to get in onto the Disruptor there and, you know, deal with him. He popped the Glimmer Cape, he had the Dust available, but, you know, it had just gotten to the point of no return where the Mars was leveled up enough, he built up the Satanic, you still had the Aegis, and, yeah, just the snowballing victory. My big question is now, is that when it was in the group stage, you mentioned before the heroes that they picked. It was on the back of the Pangolier, the Lena, the Ursa. They picked those 3 heroes plus an Elder Titan in games 1 and 2. IG let them have the exact same heroes for their draft, only switching up the final hero. Do you think it will be the same for game number 2, or will IG look to ban out a few of these important heroes, let's say? Because none of those heroes are in common with this 5-hero lineup that they've just been able to secure for themselves now.
That's a great question. That is a great question. Are they going to replicate this same draft and continue with the trend like you were saying? Because, I mean, that's what they did in the other series. Of course, different heroes, but pretty much identical draft from the game 1 and game 2 in the group stages. And I wonder, we haven't seen a lot of IO. I wonder if there's a little bit of respect coming through. IG can definitely play it themselves. It's still a hero that teams aren't putting as much emphasis on. So maybe IG pick it up. Maybe they ban it from MagMa. Maybe MagMa put more priority on it. I don't know. But the ball, it's in their court right now, MagMa. They have a huge advantage. IG have to show some respect now. They've lost 3 out of 3 maps to MagMa. Like, they have their number, potentially getting knocked out as the first team from the Imba TV I-League Season 2. And that is not what you want on the back. You want to head into TI with a little bit of momentum. Yes, it's still probably official scrims for them, but you want that momentum going through. You want some confidence and just to be able to have more games where you can experiment. And, well, if MagMa knock them out in pretty convincing fashion, then that's definitely not the result they're looking for. But they can definitely withstand the momentum. They need a draft. They need a solid one at that. And they need to execute that draft. And, well, it's only time will tell. So we've got our second draft. It'll be coming up